Uh, Hi everyone, we will be starting in the next 2 minutes. So the chat option is still not available. Try to. So the chat option is still not available. I think so. I had we changed the settings, but it is still not available. So you can unmute yourself whenever you want to ask any question, as this is a doubt session and we would be discussing some charts as well. So if you want any charts to be discussed, you can like unmute yourself or raise your hand. I'll unmute you, and you can um, ask me, and then I would be discussing this thing, the charts. So I'll be sharing my screen right now. Just let me know if I'm audible, if anyone can. I hope you can see my screen as well. Okay, fine. So I think so the members would be joining in as and when the time goes by. So in the previous two sessions of the technical analysis, this thing, am I audible? Can anyone confirm? Kapil, Ramdas, or Sumit, if you can.
Yes.
Yes, I am audible, right? Thank you. So in the last two sessions of the technical analysis series, we learned about what a trend is, how to identify a trend, and why trend identification is very important to achieve profits. So I'll just take 5 minutes. I'll just like give a quick overview of how to identify an uptrend, what an uptrend is, what does an uptrend look like, how a downtrend looks like, and how a sideways trend looks like. So a trend is defined. There are three types of trend. Either the stock would be in an uptrend, either the stock would be in a downtrend, or it would be in a sideways trend. So in an uptrend, it would be identified as a series of higher high, higher lows, or a series of peaks and troughs. So it will look like a staircase. Like if you are moving up if you are moving up a hill, so there would be some ups and downs as well. So an uptrend exactly looks like this. It goes up, then again come down, and it makes a series of higher high and higher lows. Whereas a downtrend would be the exact opposite of an uptrend. It will look like a lower high and lower lows, and a sideways trend, there would not be a particular trend. All the highs and the lows would be of a same signal. So just a second, someone raised their hand. Yes, couple. So an uptrend, downtrend, and sideways trend looks like this. So the basic idea why to identify a trend is that because in technical analysis, there is basic assumption that if a stock is in a particular trend, then you can make money out of it. Either like if the stock would be an uptrend, you can either go long. If the stock is in a downtrend, you can either go to the go short. And if the stock is in a sideways trend, you will look to buy at support levels and sell at the resistance level. So this is a basic determination. Like this is the basic step of the technical analysis, and this is the foundation of technical analysis. Like if you don't understand the trend, you won't be able to apply any of the strategies or the indications. Trend identification is the most basic one. So you can like you have to identify whatever chart whenever you open any chart, you have to identify that whether the stock is trending or not. If the stock is not trending, then your strategy changes. If the stock is trending, then again your strategy should change. So trend identification, it depends upon, I think so there are three major categories of trend. So first is the primary trend. So the primary trend is very large investment horizon who are there for the investment purposes. So that primary trend is measured in months and years. Okay, so you have to just identify, like whenever you are looking at any chart, if you are looking for an investment horizon, look at the monthly chart and the weekly chart. Do not go at the daily chart, because you are not concerned about the daily price movement. So it is very important, like to like which time frame you should keep much attention to. Okay, so if you are an investment like an investment person, you look at the monthly and the weekly chart. But if you are a person who is a day trader, or who keeps doing the swing trades or the BTST trades, you have to look at the short term trend that is measured in days. So for that, you have to look at the daily or the hourly charts. So there are three major trend identification methods. First is the primary, second is the secondary, and third is the short term, which is measured in days. For the primary trend, you have to look only at the monthly chart, monthly and the weekly chart. So this is a quick overview of how to identify a trend and how to determine a trend. So determining a trend, we look at the peaks and the troughs. As I have mentioned, the uptrend will look like a series of higher high, higher lows. A downtrend will look like a series of lower high and lower lows, and a sideways trend will look like this thing. So each like once you have identified a trend, there is a strategy behind it. Like once you have identified the stock is in a trend, then how to enter a particular stock, or how to enter in a very systematic manner where the risk reward is much more favorable. So either you can make a series of higher 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 lows, or if you are a very basic person, like if you don't have any knowledge of technical analysis, go to the daily chart, like just make the 200-day moving average. If the stock is above the 200-day moving average, then we say that the stock is in an uptrend. If the stock is below the 200-day moving average, then it is said to be it is in a downtrend. So this is the basic I think so in a very short manner I have like tried to explain what a trend is. And after that, in the last week session, we covered support and resistance, how to make support and resistance. So this is basically the theory, but we'll go to the chart section and we'll try to understand how to make the support and the resistance for various indices as well as asset classes. So I'll start with the doubt session, I think so a bit later, like 10 or 15 minutes later. We'll first look at the Nifty and the Bank Nifty chart, and we'll understand what is the how does it look, or what the trend of Nifty and Bank Nifty looks like. So on the weekly chart, we have opened the weekly chart of Nifty. So as you can see, the primary trend of Nifty is still in an uptrend. The stock, like the Nifty, is still making a series of higher high and higher lows. So for investment person, like people, they don't have to worry, because as Nifty is in a series of higher high and higher lows, it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense to panic. So looking at the weekly chart of Nifty, we can see that there is a good support zone for Nifty at this particular level, and it respected this particular level of 15,800. Whereas the resistance for Nifty right now, the first resistance would be at, like the largest resistance is at 18,200 to 18,500 level. Whereas there is a mid-term resistance, like the short-term resistance at this particular level of 17,600. So unless and until Nifty doesn't cross the 17,600 mark on a weekly basis, then Nifty then and only then we can say that the Nifty has completed its correction, and right now it will again continue its momentum to the upside. Till then, Nifty might be in the range of this particular range of 16,500 to 17,600. So this is the broad range for Nifty on the weekly chart. We'll go to the daily chart as well. We'll try to understand on the short-term basis, or in the next week basis, what are the important support and the resistance for Nifty. So as we are looking at the daily chart, we can see Nifty was making a series of lower high and lower lows. Like every rise was so every rise was getting sold. But at this moment, the asset class, like Nifty, stopped making lower high and lower lows. Instead, it started making higher high and higher lows. So this means that the short-term trend of Nifty has been changed. There is a good opportunity to either buy the stocks on support and sell at the resistance level. So this is the approach of Nifty, I think so. Nifty would take support. It has a good support level at this particular level, that is 16,800 to 17,000 mark. It is a very good support level for Nifty. Whereas the resistance line for Nifty on the daily frame would be like the range for Nifty for the next week or the next 2 weeks should be in the range of 16,850 to 17,600 levels. So at these particular levels, you can look to like book profits. So if the stock, if Nifty is coming near the 16,800, 850 mark, you can look to add stocks which you are planning to add. Okay. Whereas if Nifty is near the 17,500, 17,600 levels, you can sell some stocks or you can book some profits. So you can do some swing trading in Nifty. So this is the daily chart. We'll go to the hourly chart as well. We'll try to understand what pattern formation that it is making. So over here, we can see that Nifty had broken from an inverse head and shoulder pattern. So the inverse head and shoulder pattern is a reversal pattern. So this is the left shoulder. This was the head. And this is the right shoulder. So over here, the target of this particular pattern is around 1,200 like 1,200 points from the breakout level. So the 1,200 points near the breakout level, it takes us to, I think so, the 1,100 level. Sorry, it takes out to 18K mark. So this movement, this particular movement of the pattern won't be achieved in 1 week or 2 week itself. The stock for this asset class will move in a series of higher high and higher lows. And this is what it is happening on the hourly. You can look at the hourly chart. The Nifty goes up, then it again comes down, and it is again trying to make a base. So currently, if Nifty comes near the 17K mark, because this was the breakout zone for Nifty, and as we have seen in the previous session, like once a breakout is breached, then it will become support. So this is the dual nature of the breakout and the support principle. So if a breakout is broken, then that breakout will turn into support level. So over here we can see that Nifty is continuously making a higher low kind of a thing. So unless and until some, like if there is some geopolitical effect, there would be some gaps on Nifty. But if the situation is same like this, then we say that the bottom has been made, the panic has been made, and right now Nifty, like you can get good swing opportunities based on the levels of Nifty. So this is the basic analysis of Nifty, that Nifty like if Nifty comes near the 16,850 to 17K mark, you should look to add stocks. Whereas if Nifty comes near the 17,500 to 17,600 mark, you can look to book some profits. Okay, so this is the chart of Nifty. We'll go to Bank Nifty as well. So we'll first look at the weekly chart of Bank Nifty. So as we can see over here as well, Bank Nifty, the primary trend of Bank Nifty is to the uptrend, and it is continuously moving high. This was a very big resistance level for Bank Nifty on a weekly zone, that is the 32,500 to 32,300 levels. So it went up till 41,000, came again to retest this particular zone, and you can see a good bullish candlestick formation over here, which means that the buyers are interested to buy at this particular levels, and over here the demand is more than the supply. So we can assume that the support zone for Bank Nifty would be near the 32K mark, which is still 3,000 points below. But as we are looking at the weekly charts, there would be a big range of Bank Nifty, whereas the resistance zone for Bank Nifty is again coming at 39K. So what should be the plan of action? The plan of action over here is that if Bank Nifty corrects more till like say 33,000 or 33,500 levels, you can look to create long positions in Bank Nifty, because we have seen that there is a good support level at the 32K mark. So it doesn't necessarily mean that Bank Nifty would reverse only from 32K mark. It can reverse from 32,500, 33,000 mark. So you have to keep a watch, but this is just a basic overview on a weekly chart. It is looking good. Bank Nifty is still looking strong. The only thing over here is to time like any stock near the resistance level. Instead, try to enter at the support level. So it again depends upon the type of investor. Some people are breakout chasing people. Some people like to buy near the support level. So depending upon your strategy, depending upon how you trade or invest, you have to look at the charts differently. So we have discussed the weekly Bank Nifty levels. We'll go to the daily Bank Nifty levels, and we'll go to, I think, the 2 hourly chart. So over here also we can see the same formation in Bank Nifty as well. The Bank Nifty broke out from not an inverse head and shoulder pattern, but instead it broke out from a cup and handle pattern, which is again a reversal pattern for sure. So this was one contraction. This is the cup and this is the handle. This is another contraction. So which makes like a VCP kind of a formation, and currently it is at a support level. So Bank Nifty, it is looking good on the 2 hourly chart, or like for the next 2 or 3 days. And the support level for Bank Nifty is near 32,500 or like 35,200, sorry, 35,200, or you can say 34,800 to 35,200 is a very good support level for Bank Nifty. So we can see some bounces as well in Bank Nifty. It can go till 36,500 again. It can again go to test this particular mark. Also, like this is a bit advanced topic, but I'll try to explain you. We'll take 3 indicators to see, like as Bank Nifty was coming down, was there any strength in the Bank Nifty? So RSI, there are a lot of indicators like RSI, and there is another indicator MACD. So over there we can see the strength of the buyers, whether the buyers are still strong or not. So the first thing to notice that Bank Nifty is already near the support level. Okay, so this was the breakout area. Now it will become the support level. Now once you have established this particular thing, then we look like if Bank Nifty is going down, whether it is going down in strength or not, or whether there is some divergence in the Bank Nifty indicators. So as you can see, the basic thing over here is if the price is going down, the indicators has to go down as well. But over here we can see in the RSI, as the price was coming down, the RSI was was increasing, as well as there the MACD was increasing from this particular level to this particular level. So there was a clear divergence, like there is still a clear divergence in Bank Nifty. And the basic idea is, if you are shorting at this particular level, is very risky, because there is a divergence between the price and the indicators. And another criteria over here is that Bank Nifty is also already near the support levels. Digging more into the 15-minute chart, we can see that Bank Nifty is breaking out from a falling wedge pattern. So this particular pattern is called as a falling wedge pattern, which is a reversal pattern. So over here, all the three indicators or all the strategies that we are looking at indicates that Bank Nifty, the support of 35,200 to 35,200 is a very good support for Bank Nifty, as we can see on the daily chart as well. I think so daily, not 2 hourly chart. We can see that it was the retest of the prior cup and handle pattern. Also, we can see in the lower time frames that in the 15 minutes chart of RSI and MACD, there is a clear divergences in the price and the indicators. So as we can see, the Bank Nifty has broken out the resistance level for Bank Nifty for like the 15 minutes chart is it is coming near 36,100 or 36,200 level. So you have to look at the 15 minutes chart, like based upon your investment horizon. You have to look at the charts itself. So these are the two basic indices, index levels we have looked at. I think so. If anyone has any doubt regarding the trend and the support resistance concept, you can like raise your hand. If you want that I should look at some particular chart, then you can ask me. But the first thing over here is, if you want, if you have any doubt in the trend and the support and the resistance principle. So if you have, just raise your hand or unmute yourself. Otherwise, we'll move forward to the chart discussion session for this particular weekend.
Archit, one question. You mentioned for Nifty, the target is 1100 on the higher side. So how did you get that 1100?
So it is based on the, So over here, the 1200 pattern, it is a price target of this particular pattern. So this is the inverse head and shoulder pattern. So the price target of this particular pattern would be the length from this particular level, like this is the neckline, and this is the low of this pattern. So whenever you have to calculate a price target for any particular pattern, as the pattern has been broken out, we have to add from this particular level, from the level it has been broken out, and just add the levels, like from I think so 16,950 levels, you can add 1200 levels. This would be the pattern target. So I hope I am clear. The next, any other doubt for the trend and the support part? Otherwise, I'll move forward to the some of the participants have already told which stocks that I have to discuss. So I'll move forward to that section. Otherwise, so I don't think so. I have not seen anyone raising their hand. So I'll move forward. So this was a question of, I think so, then I guess. So we'll look at two stocks, Rain Industries, as well as I forgot the other name, but it was so it was Rain Industry and Graphite. So we look at the I always look at the weekly chart of any stock. So as you can see, and I'll try to plot out the support and the resistance for the stocks. So over here we can see that the stock is in an uptrend, but now on the weekly chart it has broken this particular zone. So there might be a scenario like the stock has broken out, it went till 165 and it is again retesting the like the breakdown zone on the weekly chart. But so over here I think so Rain Industry will find it difficult to cross the 211 and 212 marks. So unless and until this particular zone of 211 and 212 is not broken, I think so as the short-term trend of Rain Industry is looking down, so it might correct a bit further before making a good base. And as you can see over here, there is a shooting star candle formation as well. So in a shooting star candle formation, it indicates that the buyers are not strong. The buyers were even though the Rain Industry, it went till 2008, like 208 mark, the levels did not sustain and the pressure side was coming in. So for Rain Industry, it is very important to close about this particular level of 215 on a daily or a weekly basis. Closing basis is very important, and once it closes, then again it can continue its momentum till to 250 and 260 levels. So this was for Rain Industries. We go to graphite. So I've already made a chart of graphite. So as you can see over here, we are looking at the weekly chart of Graphite India, and there is a big cup and handle formation that is in progress for graphite. So the support level for graphite is near the 400 mark, whereas the resistance level, like the level at from which the stock would continue its momentum, is near, like once it closes above the 600 mark. So these are the particular two ranges on a weekly basis. So on a weekly basis, graphite has to cross above the 600 mark, and whereas the support level is near the 400 marks, which is a bit extreme. But as we are looking at the weekly charts, the levels will be extreme. We look at the daily chart as well, and over here we can see that the stock is not in a particular range. Like it is not trending to the upside or it is trending to a downside. It is trending in a particular range. And over here you have to apply 2 or 3 principles as well. So as this was a particular support zone for graphite, it is acting as a resistance level as well. So like if graphite comes to 580 or 590 levels, wait for graphite to cross about the 600, like cross and closes about the 600 level, because it is a particular supply zone for graphite. As it was a like as this was a support zone, it will turn into a resistance zone. So for such kind of entries, like if I want to make a particular entry in graphite, I on a daily chart I look to enter near the 480 marks, because which is acting as a minor support level, and keep a stop loss of 15 or 20 levels. But if you are looking from a long-term horizon, I think so after 600, once it crosses the 600 levels, then it will be in momentum. So I think so I've covered these 2 stocks. We'll move forward. We'll cover some of the stocks which are in my watch list and which is looking good. So the first stock is AWL. I think so we have traded AWL. We traded at 400, like around 385 levels. But this particular stock AWL is looking very good. It is hovering near this particular mark. The IPO high, that the 425 or 430 level is the IPO high, and you can see a series of a VCP kind of a formation as well. And as we know, the Adani stocks usually move in a very good manner, and there is a good momentum as well in this particular stock. Like once it crosses the 425 mark, this stock can give quick returns of 5 to 6%. So you can look at the volume action as well. You can see a lot of green candles. Whenever it is coming down on low volume, which is again a good sign. And the best sign over here is that it has a tight consolidation or a tight consolidation which near the resistance level, which indicates that it is squeezing the supply, and and it can break out anytime. So this type of price action is very much needed whenever you look at a particular stock. And like there are numerous number of stocks in NSE. You have to restrict it to the 5-10 script, because you cannot trade each and every stock. So this is one of the stocks which is looking good. There is another stock, I think so, Tata Steel, that I think should perform well. And we first look at the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, Tata Steel has broken out from this particular consolidation, and over here, as the stock was in an uptrend, if this particular pattern is called as a descending triangle pattern. Okay, so if the stock would have broken this thing of 1000 level and it had closed below the 1000 level, the descending triangle formation is a reversal pattern. Okay, it is a bearish reversal pattern that the stock will come down. But here the stock did not break down, break its support level. Instead, it is breaking to the upside. So statistically speaking, the descending triangle pattern with an upside breakout has a much greater success rate. So we can I can see on the weekly chart, it has come out from a big consolidation. It was consolidating since I think so August 21, and right now metal index is also broken out. So over here the trend of Tata Steel has changed. I guess we can see if Tata Steel comes near the 1300 level, it is a very good buy level, because it was this particular zone was acting as a good resistance level, and it has managed to close 3 or 4 consecutive weeks above it. So as this was the resistance zone, it will again become the support zone, and the overall weekly trend, it is looking good, that it is telling that now the consolidation is over and now the stock can move it to the upside. So this is the weekly chart. We'll go to the two earlier chart, or we'll go to the 4 hourly chart. So the 2 hourly chart, we can see that the stock is in an uptrend, and the stock has made a HNS continuation pattern. So HNS continuation pattern is also it is kind of a symmetrical triangle pattern. Sorry, ascending triangle pattern formation. You can say it as a ascending triangle pattern formation, or you can say as a HNS continuation pattern. But also this pattern has a high success rate, and you can see it is retesting its breakout area. So ideally speaking, 1325 should not be broken. So you can look to enter this particular stock at the retest zone. Like currently it is retesting its breakout area, and the ideal way to keep a stop loss is to keep a stop loss below the left hand shoulder. So this will be the particular stop loss, because you have to give some room whenever you enter a particular pattern, because there would be some whipsaws, because as we are trading on a 2 hourly chart, there would be some times where the stock might come down just to trigger your stop loss, and then again will move up, because everyone knows that usually people buy near the support level and keep a stop loss 5 or 10 points below. But if you are looking at a swing trade opportunity for 7 to 8 days, you have to give some room to the to a particular stock. So Tata Steel, it is looking good on the weekly chart. It has already broken out here as well. On the 2 hourly chart, we can see that it has broken out from HNS continuation pattern, which is again looking good. Whereas on the daily chart, we can see like once it crosses this particular resistance level of 1375 levels, the next level is 1430, and after that it is near the 1500 mark. So overall, the metal index also has broken out. So if you look at the CNX metal index, so on the weekly chart, we can see that it has broken out from a long consolidation zone. So this gives us a quick overview of that the metal stocks would be focused. They are breaking out, the index is breaking out from a long consolidation zone. So we have identified that the sector is going well. Whereas after identifying that the sector is going well, we'll move forward to the individual stocks and so on and so forth. So these are the two stocks that from my side, it is looking good. If you have any other stocks that I think so, one of the stock was Raymond as well. So you can either write on my personal chat if you want any stock to be discussed, or you can unmute yourself and I'll do the same.
Archit, can we discuss Hindustan Copper also?
Yeah, after covering Raymond's, I'll cover the Hindustan Copper as well.
Of course, of course.
So this was another doubt from one of my subscriber or the members. So for Raymond, it has a resistance near the 800 levels. You can see it is getting rejected thrice, once, twice, thrice. So we can see that the weekly resistance for Raymond is near the 800 to 850 mark. Whereas on the weekly chart, you can see a series of higher high, higher low kind of formation. So there are two trading opportunities over here. You can either buy the stock once it crosses the 800 mark. You can keep a stop loss near the 750 mark. Or if you want to enter early, you can look to enter the stock near the 725 mark and keep a stop loss of around 20-25 mark. So this is the like on a weekly time frame, it has to cross the 800-850 mark. Once it crosses the 850 mark, then and only then the stock would be in momentum. So the major thing that you have to consider in selecting stock is that try to select stocks which are already in uptrend, so it will take less time to move. So as you can see over here, we are selecting AWL because the stock is already in uptrend. There is no upward supply over here. Whereas stocks like Raymond, we can see there is a supply at 800-850 levels already. So whenever it tries to move towards that level, there would be supply that is coming in, and that is why it would take time for the stock to move up. So I think so. I've covered Raymond. We covered to Hindustan Copper.
Sorry, one question: how do we know there is an supply
Sorry?
at 800? How do we understand that?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, I'm asking how do we understand there is an overhead supply at 800 levels?
Okay, so yeah, so basically this is a very simple concept. So the stock, just a second, yeah. So where the stock was moving up, every resistance was becoming a support level, and right now from this particular level, it formed a double top kind of a formation, and this was a particular support level for Raymond at this particular level. So ideally it should not have been broken, but as it was broken, this support level will turn into a resistance level. And as you can see over here, the remained from 860 level, it went till 570 level, and again it tried to come at 860 level. So there are trapped buyers at this particular level. So whenever at 850 level, whenever the stock goes near the 850 level, there would be some trap buyers who want to exit the stock at 850 levels. So this is creating the overhead supply. Okay. So this is how you understand that there is some overhead supply. The stock is getting rejected thrice from this particular levels, and just looking at the chart, by looking at the demand and the supply zone, you will try to understand whether there is an overhead supply or not. So in some stocks like VIP, as the stock is an uptrend, there is no trap buyers and sellers. Once this particular level of 700 is broken out, here the overhead supply is zero, because the price is going into uncharted category. There are no demand and supply zone. There are no trap buyers over here. So this is how you understand if a stock has a overhead supply or not. I hope I've solved your doubt. Yeah. Just a second. I've just Dheerya, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, Archit, I'm Hiten.
Sorry?
I'm Hiten Gokani.
Okay, Hiten, yeah. Hi.
Archit, one thing I want to know, if suppose there is a new IPO stock.
Yeah.
And we don't have any history. So how we can decide the stock upside target and downside target? So
it depends upon so over here in Paytm, as it was a new, so I will discuss two scenarios, one to the downside and one to the upside. Okay, so over here, Paytm was a newly listed stock. It went till 2000 and it was making a support of this particular level. So just by looking at the price target, ideally this should not have been broken of 1300 level. If 1300 level is broken, it means that the trend is to the downside. So the first target according to this chart pattern would come from 1300 level to 700 level. So still 700 level is near this particular level of 570. So this was a particular, this is the IPO stock. There is no particular price history in this particular chart formation. So either you can get targets from the price pattern that has been formed, or either you have to look at the Fibonacci resistance, the Fibonacci support and the resistance principle. So this is the example of Paytm. We'll go to AWL. We'll try to understand what would be the target levels for AWL, because there is no particular price history. So first of all, there are two breakouts that had happened over here. So the first breakout level is breakout chart pattern is the symmetrical triangle formation. So over here in symmetrical triangle formation, you have to measure from the trend lines that have been made. So the chart, the price target for this particular chart would be 150 points. So you have to measure it from the time it has broken out, and you have to just project it to the upside. So according to this, the Wilmer chart, the first price pattern, the first target is around 520 levels. Otherwise, you can go to the lower time frame as well. You can see that it is forming a BCP kind of a formation as well. So over here, you can derive another that is from 100 levels. So anyways, here as well, it is the price target according to the BCP as well as a symmetrical triangle. It would be the same as 520 but 525 levels.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, the next question, I think so someone was asking some question. Can you raise your hand and unmute?
Can you check Delta Corp?
Yeah, definitely. So what would be the time frame that we are looking at, for investment horizon, or you are looking at a swing trade basis?
Short term, yeah.
Short term, thank you. Just first look at the weekly chart to understand whether this. So on the weekly chart, it is looking good. It has broken out from a good consolidation or a rectangle pattern, which is good. Go to the daily time frame. So Delta Corp, it is looking good on the daily and the weekly chart. The only thing over here is when to enter this particular stock. So either you can enter the stock at CMP only and keep a stop loss below this particular candlestick, but okay, and the target would be around 380, 390 levels. But for the timing purpose, we'll go a bit lower. We'll try to identify if we can enter at a level which has a good risk reward ratio. So we'll first try to make the this was a particular resistance for delta corp. So any dip to 300 levels, so it has already come twice. Like once it broken out from 298, went till 316, it came twice to retest this particular zone. So I am not expecting delta corp to again come near the 300 levels, but there is a high possibility that it can come near the 310 levels. So on the short term time frame, I guess it can move up till the target would be, let me see if there is some resistance. So it is looking good. There is no particular resistance there, but I think so near the 350 mark, it will find some resistance. So we can see that the stock already has broken out. It is into the trending move. So any dip to 300 is a buy, whereas the target will become 350, 400 for delta corp.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
The next question, Amay, you can ask, Amay.
Archit, Century Textile.
Century Textile.
Archit, whenever you have time, I really appreciate if you can, cover Hindustan Copper also.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, sir, I just forgot. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Let's do Century first.
Yeah. So Century Textile will first. The first thing that I usually see is the weekly chart, and over here in Century Textile, there is a these are the two big kind of formation which is worrying me, and there would be some Fibonacci resistance as well. So over here we can see that the 900 level is a very there is a good resistance level. It has a Fibonacci resistance level as well. So I would not be chasing takeout on this particular stock, but on the support zone we can see that if the stock has, because it has already formed a series of it has stopped making series of lower high and lower lows, and it is making a series of higher high and higher lows. So either my strategy would be to buy this stock once it comes near the 800 to 815 mark, which is it is retesting the particular zone, and the target would be again near 900 levels.
Archit, for Century Textile, let's say if I have a view of 3 to 5 years,
okay,
how do I read that from the chart?
First, we have to look at the weekly. If you have a horizon of 3 to 5 years, you have to look at the monthly and the weekly chart. So we can see that the overall the stock, the primary trend of this particular stock is to the uptrend. So we'll try to make the support and the resistance zone. We'll try to understand from what pattern it has broken out. So over here we can see there was a this was a particular resistance level on the monthly chart. So around 6182, I think so 700 is the retest zone for this particular stock. And as we can see, the stock has already moved in a very linear manner. So from this particular zone, from 500, it has already moved till 1000 level. So currently it is in the consolidation zone. The overall trend for a long-term perspective is to the upside. So the strategy that comes around it is to buy the stock when it comes near the support zone, or if you have already bought, you can keep holding the stock, but just it is currently in the consolidation zone. So the next upward movement will start once it crosses the 1000 level mark. So the strategy over here is to buy the stock when it comes near the once it comes near the to retest this particular zone of 600 650 mark. Okay, and the long-term trend, like if you want to calculate the target for this particular stock for the 3 to 5 years, it would be, I think so it is forming a flag kind of formation or a rectangle formation. So you can either, you have to measure it from this particular thing, and yeah, so currently it is making a rectangle formation. It is trading in this range from 700 to 1300 levels. So the basic target formation would be for on the monthly chart would be like around, first target would be around 1500, the next target would be around 2000 level. So all this thing is defined from the price target itself. You can then you have to look at the Fibonacci targets as well. But on the monthly time frame, 700 is a very good support zone for Century Textile, whereas the resistance level is 1000 level. So unless and until these two particular levels are not broken, the stock would be trading in this particular range itself. I hope I've solved the question.
Yes, just one more follow-up to that. So
Yeah.
that means if you take 700 on a monthly level, even if you are holding for long term, you probably should exit.
No. So if you are looking at the monthly chart, let the stock, let the monthly close be below the 600 mark. Okay, because the stock can come to, like, it might do a whipsaw as well, or there might be some panic level as well. So over here we have understood that the trend is to the upside. You don't have to book a loss unless and until this particular level is not broken on the monthly zone. Don't try to sell the stock because the overall trend is to the upside. Okay, you have to identify, like, if the stock is into an uptrend, try to buy the stock whenever it comes near the support zone. And as this particular stock has broken out, like there is no overhead supply and it is into the all-time high category list, I think so it will this thing, like it will respect the particular zone of 600. But if on the monthly time frame it closes below the 600 mark, then you can look to exit the stock. So moving forward, we'll go to Hindustan Copper. I think so Hindustan Copper I have discussed many times, so the view remains the same. This was a particular resistance zone for Hindustan Copper, that is 98 to 100 levels, and it is respecting the levels of 98 to 100 level. It is respecting since a long time. So on the monthly chart, this is a particular range for Hindustan Copper. I think so Hindustan Copper on the monthly chart, it has a good resistance, good support at 100 to 110 level, whereas the resistance is near the 160 mark. So on the stock would be in momentum once it crosses the 160 mark. So as we can see in the Tata Steel chart as well, here also it is forming a descending triangle kind of a formation. For this particular stock to be in momentum, the stock has to cross the 150 mark. Once it crosses the 150 mark, we can say that the descending triangle formation has been negated and the stock might go to the upside. Whereas the support level is near the 100-110 marks. So unless and until that particular zone is not broken, we as the overall trend is to the upside, I remain positive in this particular stock. But for the stock, for this particular stock to be in momentum, it has to cross the 150 mark.
So Archit, how do we make out, this has been testing patience for little too long.
Yeah.
And then volumes are also very high at these levels. Okay. So, I mean, how do we make out if this is a distribution happening and it will break down, or if it is accumulation and it will, go up? If you go by with fundamentals of copper, and you also keep on posting a lot of copper related charts, copper is bullish as a commodity. Right. Yeah. And we for this reason, I was expecting that Hindustan Copper should do well. Right. But that has not been the case. While all metal stocks are doing well, not in the case of Hindustan Copper.
Yeah, though I think so. Every stock goes through a period of a big consolidation. It is testing out the patience. But if we are looking at the weekly chart, the distribution, I don't think so. The volumes are very much significant. Of selling, the volumes are not very much significant. Also, if you want to analyze any, the first thing is to look at the price action. Then you have to look at the indicators. So if you want to see that if the stock is whether the selling is significant or not, you have to look at the RSI and the MACD levels. So over here, in the RSI levels as well, the RSI level, unless and until the weekly chart of the RSI level is not below the 40 mark, do not then it is not a sign of worry. If the stock is here you can see that the weekly chart of this thing, Hindustan Copper, the RSI level this is also trading in this particular range. The thing for worry over here is once it crosses the 100 mark to the downside and the RSI breaks as well, then it is a confirmation. Otherwise it you cannot time it whether the distribution is happening or the accumulation is happening. You have to just look at the price action. You have to understand whenever it comes near the 100 mark, there are buyers stepping in. Then looking at the candlestick formation as well, you can see there's a lot of big formation at this particular level. So this means that the buyers are stepping in whenever it comes near those levels. So depending upon the you have to correlate the candlestick pattern as well. You have to look at the indicators as well, and then you can arrive at a solution.
So let's say if it breaks 100 momentarily for a day or two, and the RSI doesn't fall, then that should give me a consolence that there is still strength left.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Along with volume, I can try to interpret.
Yes. You can look at then you have to go to the lower time frames as well. You have to look at the RSI levels, is there some divergence in it or not. So I'll just give you an example of Sequent Scientific. So over here you can see that Sequent Scientific, there was a good support. This was a resistance level. It went in 300 levels, and right now it is trading at 120, 125 levels. But as you can see, although the stock was moving down, the RSI, the price action was moving down, the RSI is going up, which means that the sellers have lost the they don't have the strength anymore, and which is again it is coinciding with the support levels. So you have to take 2 or 3 things into effect, and you have to look there should be a divergence in place to to confirm your thesis. So over here on the daily chart as well, you can see some divergence that is happening here. So looking at the price action as well as the indicators, you can arrive at a conclusion. So like, it has to be real time. I don't have an example.
No, I understand. I understand. I get your point.
Yeah, but on a to conclude it, it should not break 100 levels on the weekly basis. Till then I think so. Hindustan Copper is looking good.
Fair point.
Yeah. Next question. Can anyone?
Archit, HFCL.
Yeah, HFCL. So the first thing is to look at the weekly chart of HFCL. So over here, it looks like the stock has been in an extended mode. There is some room for correction for HFCL on the monthly chart. So the room for correction is near the 43, 45, 40 to 50 mark. So we have identified that. Then we look at the weekly chart. We try to understand what the price action is telling us. So right now, HFCL is in the period that it is not trending to the upside. It is not trending to the downside. It is in the period of, it is in a sideways trend, which is bounded by this particular things. Two particular ranges. So 99 and this is the 56 level. So if you are already holding this particular stock and you are holding it from particular lower levels, so the important like the plan of action, what I would be doing is like I would be holding, because as the weekly trend is to the upside as well as the monthly trend is to the upside, and this particular price action, it happened, I think so, it went into ASM. That is why there is such low volume over here, and previously it moved at a good pace, and there is no clear distribution happening because you cannot see a series of red volume candles as well. So right now it could be in a series of consolidation. You have to just keep a watch over here. It could be forming a triangle kind of a formation. It could be a consolidation phase. Like you can see, there is a symmetrical triangle formation as well. But for that to be confirmed, there are two ranges over here. It should not break the 55 level mark. If it breaks the 55 level mark, it can come till 35 to 40 level. And on the upside, once it breaks the 90 level mark, and once it closes above the 90 level mark on the weekly scale, then it will again move to the upside. So every stock goes through a period of consolidation. So at that time, you have to just be patient and look at the volume, whether the volumes are picking up or not. Then you have to look at the candlesticks as well. So as you can see over here near the 56 level mark, you can see a bullish candlestick over here. You can see that the stock, whenever it comes near the 62 level mark, there is a long wick kind of a formation. So the buyers are interested to buy near the 55 to 60 level mark. But right now, the overall trend on the weekly chart is in the sideways motion. So you have to just wait and watch. Unless and until that range is not broken, you cannot conclude anything. I hope I have solved your question. I think so.
Yes, okay.
Anyone else regarding
Archit,
any other stock?
Yeah.
Hi.
Archit, I just wanted to have an overall view of ITC, considering there was a good momentum in this month.
Let's look at the weekly chart. I think so. So on the weekly chart, you can see that the stock is breaking out from this thing, a symmetrical triangle formation. I'll just draw the resistance level. So it has a good resistance near the 270 mark. So this is the monthly chart. So 270 mark is a very good resistance. But on the weekly chart, as you can see over here, the stock has already moved up, and considering this as an ITC, moving up from 210 till 260 levels, and it is again testing its resistance zone of 270 mark. I think so. The overall trend, like it is still in a sideways trend itself. Unless and until it doesn't break out the 270 level market, there is no sense to chase this particular stock. But if you are a swing trader, you can look for opportunities. You can look to buy the stock when it comes near, I think so, the 240 to 240 level marks, because the overall short-term trend is to the upside. But on a 1 or 2 month period, unless and until it doesn't close above 270, I don't think so ITC would be moved. And I think so right now it is at 250 level, and 270 level is nearly like 6 or 7% away. So if ITC moves at 270 level, it is already extended. So it has to close above the 270 mark to be in consideration of being long in this particular stock. Otherwise, I think so. The level will get rejected. The 270 is a very good supply zone. As you can see, there is a strong bearish candle formation over here as well, and you can see some supply that is like there are some trap buyers at this particular level. So whenever it comes near those levels, people will try to sell the stock, either in cash or in FNO as well. So like look for stocks which are in uptrend or which are going to an uptrend, which already has an established trend to it. So like you can make a watch list of it, and which will help you to like time your entries, and you can rotate your money quickly as well.
Hi.
Hi.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, sorry, I joined a bit late. So
yeah,
actually just wanted to know if we have covered NIIT, PVR, Tata Elxsi.
No, we have not covered. I think so. I'll cover two of these. I think so. I'll cover PVR and I think so NIIT. I think so. Tata Elxsi has already moved a lot, but we'll cover two of those. So I think so. PVR and INOX are looking good. On the weekly chart, you can see that it is breaking out from a symmetrical triangle formation. The symmetrical triangle formation is again a consolidation pattern. It is a bullish continuation pattern. Sorry, consolidation not. It is a bullish continuation pattern, and on the weekly chart, it is looking good. It has broken out from a symmetrical triangle formation. So also the trend is to the upside, and there was some resistance level at this particular level of I think so 755 to 1800 levels. It is looking good. It can reach 200 and like 2100 level, which is the all-time high. And if you want to look at the this thing, the 2 hourly chart, there would be a series of like confluence zone. This is the trend line support zone. This is the first series, and you can see that the stock was continuously hovering near this particular zone of I think so 1770 level. It crossed, it went till 1860 level, and it is just retesting the particular zone of 1775. So the overall trend of PVR, it is looking good on the weekly chart as well as the daily chart. So it is a like you can buy at support levels. It is looking good, and the volumes are good as well. And another stock in this thing is I think so INOX is also looking good. It has broken out on the chart. I guess it is trading near its all-time high, and it is broken out from a cup and handle pattern. You can see a cup and handle pattern. So considering the COVID situation being like gone, these stocks are again coming in momentum. So you have to keep a watch. Like you can look to buy the stock whenever it comes near the support level. The second stock that you told was NIIT.
Yeah.
So the NIIT on a monthly chart, it has broken out. It is looking good. So this is the particular support level, and I don't think so this particular zone of 500 would be like it would be retested, because there was a gap of this particular zone. So for NIIT, the support level would be around 525 levels, whereas the resistance is near 625 levels. So this stock is already in momentum. It is already in an uptrend, and there is no overhead supply. The only problem over here is that it is a little bit illiquid. So it will test your patience, I guess. It moves in like in 2 weeks, it will move once or twice. So currently it is retesting or just in a consolidation zone, NIIT. But soon, as the overall trend is to the upside, it will continue moving forward.
Right. No, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And you said Tata Elxsi has already moved in. So is it like there's an already it's all-time high, but do you see any resistance on the upside, or if somebody is holding?
If somebody is holding already, it broke out from a cup and handle formation. We can like try to see its resistance level. So just look at the target. So according to the Fibonacci levels, 8,900 will act as the first target for Tata Elxsi, so which is coinciding with the 9,000 level mark. So on the weekly chart, I think so around 8,900 to 9,000 level, you can see some resistance level. Whereas like if it comes near the 7,800 mark, which is again a good zone, because this was a particular breakout zone. But on the upside, I think so there is some capital. It will face some resistance near because it has already extended. It has extended a lot, 10-12%. So it might come, or it might consolidate near the 8,900 to 9,000 mark.
Okay.
But holding for investment, it doesn't make sense to sell this particular stock at this particular level, because you can see that the stock is moving to the upside, and there is good volume associated with it as well. So if you are looking for holding for investment, let the trend continue. But if you have a short-term horizon, you can sell near the 9,000 mark.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually holding it for long term as well. So, and yeah, but
there is some trading that we do. So incidentally, since it was breaking out, we got in some position from a near-term perspective. I look to kind of get something because there are some trading losses also that we need to cover.
Okay.
So that's the whole
yeah,
idea.
definitely you can like do some trading. So if you have 100%, you can trade the 20% like allocation of Tata LLC, like so that would help. But you have to just keep the levels in mind, like near 9,000 level, it will face some basis. You can sell it and then you can buy it again. That's the thing you can do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any other stock that anyone?
Tata Metallics.
RHIM also, any new levels that we are looking for this week? It was hovering around 610, 614, 618.
Yes, I'll cover that as well. Once I cover the Tata Metallics one, then I'll cover this thing. Okay,
yeah.
Fine? Okay. So Tata Metallics, I think so. So from this particular level, it started its upward journey from 300 levels. We try to and this will become as a support level. Okay, so we'll just try to make the Fibonacci levels at what levels it might find some support. Try to make another Fibonacci. So over here, this is a particular Fibonacci. So yeah, so Tata Metallics, there is a support level at 675 to 750 level. And as you can see that the overall trend of monthly chart of Tata Metallics is to the upside. The stock should ideally like take support from the 650 to the 700 mark, 750 mark. But on the daily chart, we'll try to look if there is some kind of a reversal pattern or a RSI or a divergence. Just give me a second. So there was a MACD divergence, and I can see that the stock might be forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern on Tata Metallics. This would be the left shoulder. This would be currently it might be forming the right shoulder pattern. So right now the pattern is still not complete. So if you're holding for an investment perspective, the 750 is a very good support zone. But for the short-term trend to turn into positive, it will gather momentum once it crosses the 900 mark. So once it crosses the 900 mark, the level for Tata, like the Tata Metallics, would again come till 1200 and 1300 levels. But currently, it is in a period of consolidation. It is forming a kind of a right-handed shoulder over here. So let the pattern being formed, let the stock cross the 900 level on a weekly or a daily basis. Once it crosses that, then we can see the target of 1200 and 1300 level as well. But if you're looking for the investment perspective, I think so 750 mark is a very good monthly support level and a very good strong accumulation zone for Tata Metallics. So moving forward, I'll go to RHIM. So RHIM, I think so we had covered near the 400-450 mark. So over here, it had broken out from, you can see this is an inside buyer strategy, and so it is looking good. It is continuously moving up, and the volumes associated on the weekly charts are good as well. Just over here as well, there is a problem that like it is a illiquid stock. So either like on an intraday basis, sometimes it might disappoint you, or it might take your stop losses. But the pattern target, we'll try to find the pattern target from this particular zone. The pattern target was 160 point. So ideally, according to the pattern target, it might move till 700 levels. And as well as on the two hourly chart, you can see that the stock is continuously like it is moving in a series of higher high, higher low kind of a formation, and there was a ascending triangle formation as well on the 2 hourly chart that it has broken out. So eventually the target for RHI on the short term basis is around 690 to 700 levels, and I think so it should move as the stock is like you can see whenever it comes down on low volume, and it is right now consolidating in a very tight range.
Okay.
Anything else?
Any view on? Yeah, sorry. Any view on these polyplex or anything as such as well?
Like for the investment purpose?
Again, it's a not very investment purpose. It's more like a trading bet. but
Okay.
recently has been kind of again putting up all-time highs and kind of thing. So are we expecting some good result with the pattern? Can you see from the chart or anything that
From
we
the
can hold it for
chart,
the month of March or
so
yeah.
from the weekly, this thing on the weekly chart, it has formed a very bad pattern over here because
Okay.
it has a although it has broken this particular resistance level of 2000 level, but it has formed like a inverted hammer kind of a formation, so which is a bearish reversal pattern. But you have to wait for the next week as well if the stock is like. But on the daily chart, so you can keep a stop loss of around 2050 level. So unless and until the 2050 level is not broken down, because on the daily chart you can see that the stock started moving from 1750 level as well. So it is it is natural for the stock to come down. That is why there is a weekly inverted hammer kind of formation. But the important level you have to notice over here that it should not close below the 2050 mark on the daily chart. So if it does, then you can expect you can from the chart it does seem that the results won't be that good, and
Okay.
it might come down. But unless and until the 2050 mark is not broken from a trading perspective, I think so the overall trend is to the upside. But if it is broken, it can again come down to the 1750 mark, which is the bottom of the pattern, like the rectangle pattern.
Surely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Archit, this is Udayan again.
Yeah.
While we covered Tata Steel and there's one more stock, methanol. I was under the impression, So I was under the impression both for Tata Steel and methanol, there was a divergence on a 3-hourly chart and a 4-hourly chart and one and a half hourly chart also.
Yeah.
Is what I could understand. So in anticipation of that divergence getting resolved, I sold some of it, but it never came down. So when are we going to dig deep into RSI divergence, etc.?
So on the divergence part, so always understand it. The first thing would be the price action. Once you identify the price action, and then you go to the divergence part. So over here in methanol, the problem that I saw that the methanol is breaking out since a long time. So there would be divergences on the lower time frame. But here the upper time frame will overrule the lower time frames. Okay, so as you can see, methanol had already broken, it was breaking out from a long consolidation at 1250 mark. I think so. It was just a second. It was breaking out from a period of around 30 from 30 bars on the 30 weekly bars. So there would be some divergence on the lower side. So if you are looking at the trading perspective, you have to always think whether the stock is breaking out from a long consolidation or not. If it is if the stock is breaking out from a long consolidation, there would be some divergence on the lower time frame, and that you have to avoid. Another thing to understand is that the price will always overrule the indicators. You have to first look at the price. If the price is saying that the price is moving forward and the indicators is showing bearish divergence, you have to first follow the price, because the divergence don't have stocks making bearish diversion, but the stock is keep on going up. So the divergence rate of any indicators around 50 to 60%. You have to coincide RSI with MACD and some other indicators as well. You have to look but the first thing is you have to look at the price and then look at the divergence. You cannot make decisions based on the divergence and then on the price. Okay.
Yeah, I got it. But which will be those cases where you follow the price, and which will be those cases where you actually look at RSI divergence also?
So as I've just told it, like the stock of methanol, it is breaking out from a consolidation of 30 bars. So it doesn't make sense to look at the divergence, because the overall trend is to the upside. Why to look at the divergence on the 1 hourly or the 2 hourly time frame? What would be the worst case scenario? It would just come to retest this particular zone of 1200 levels. So at that zone, you can look to buy the stock again, because the stock is breaking out on good volumes. It is breaking out from a good zone. So at that moment, you don't have to look at divergences. On the other side, if the stock has been moving up since a long time, okay, and then there is a divergence. There is not one divergence, but there is a divergence in MACD as well as a RSI. Then you can try to and there is a bearish formation as well on the price action itself, either on the chart pattern that you can see. Then you have to follow that. Then the stock can come down. So it is like a continuing process. It is a chart itself, whether to go long or whether to sell the stock early.
Acha, when are we going to dig deep into this topic of MACD and divergence, RSI, etc.?
I think so. It is quite the first thing that we are going to cover next week is candlestick. Candlestick will take two I think so 2 weeks, 2 particular Sundays continuous.
Okay.
Then we'll go to Dow theory, and then we'll cover the pattern or the price pattern, how to identify the price pattern, which price pattern to take, and then the indicators. Because in the price action, the indicators come at a very later stage. First, you have to look at the price. You have to understand what the price is telling. Once you understand that, then the indicators will come.
Got it. Got it.
Okay.
Achha, have you, I mean, you must have planned, of course, but do you plan to share with us in which week are we going to do what? Of course, that will be flexible to an extent. But would it be possible for you to share that with us?
Yeah, I would be sharing it. I think so 1 or 2 days. The dates might according to the timetable, it might differ a week or so. But I would be sharing the particular plan of action.
Of course, of course. Achha, one more thing. Do you plan to share the PowerPoint, etc., with us, or this video file which you share is all which is in the plan?
What I would share it. So with the video file, you already have the video, but I would share it like on the weekends. I would share it. The weekdays are pretty much hectic, but on the weekends I'll try to today itself I would share it once this lecture is over.
Okay. So one last request.
Yeah.
ये जो video था जैसे last week I missed my session. So if you can, sometime in the evening.
So I have already sent out the recording itself.
Yes, you have, of course. No doubt about that. But वो थोड़ा late आया ना in the week.
No. After I think so the session जैसे खत्म हुआ था 5:28 को आ गया था.
ऐसा क्या? Then it would be my mistake. I wouldn't have looked at properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Any more doubts, or we can just wrap up the session?
Archit,
yeah.
Can you check the chart of credit SEC, your favorite?
Which one?
Credit SEC.
Credit SEC we have already discussed, I guess, this thing. So it has already broken out, I guess. So I think so on the daily chart, it has broken out on this particular 700 mark, and right now it is moving to the upside. Okay, on the monthly chart it is also looking good. You can see there is no overhead supply. So it depends upon your entry size. You have already, I think so we have entered at 700 levels already. So the stock is near our targets of 850. So you can either, if for long-term investment you want to add, you can add at 700, 750 levels again. But the short-term target has been met. But for the long-term horizon, there is a good potential movement pending in the credit ACC. Yes, Sushant, you can ask. Hi, Sushant, you can unmute yourself and you can ask. Okay, fine. So Harshal.
Hey, Archit, look for gold now.
Yeah, gold.
Yeah.
The horizon, I think so.
1 to 2 years.
Fine.
Bit longer.
Archit, would you mind to check HUL? Reason being it has fallen from 2,500 to 1,900 levels now.
Sure. After covering this gold, I'll look at the HUL.
Sure. Take it.
Thank you. So I think so. Gold has broken out from this particular consolidation zone. So if you have then you can see a inverted kind of a symmetrical candle triangle formation in gold. So looks very good. I don't think so it would break this zone of 49,500 to 50,000 level because on the weekly chart it has broken out from a big series of consolidation. So whenever it comes near the 49,500 level to 50,000 level, it can bounce back. You can also apply a Fibonacci levels, so we can look at the levels from where it can reverse, and you can see that the 61.8% retracement is near the 50,500 mark. So it can come till this level, or it can again come till the 78.6%. But if you are looking for a 1 or 2 year investment, I think so gold, the consolidation of gold has the gold has broken out. It might come to retest, but it should continue moving to the upside.
Can we compare this?
Sorry,
can we compare this with silver and DXY also at the same time? So once we do, I have a question for you.
I think so. This is this is the free version of trading you, so I would not be able to add this thing.
Separate gold,
okay.
Separate silver chart, and separate
done. I'll check. Sure. Yeah, Arshil, you are asking something.
Any price target?
The price target, yeah. So just a second. As we are looking at the monthly chart, so the price target would be, as this is a pennant formation. The first target would be around from this particular level from, I think 16,500 is around 8,000. Yeah. So the first target would be around the 60,000 mark, and the next target would be around the 65,000 mark. So according to this particular price pattern, the target would be around, the first is near the 60K and next is near the 65, 66K.
Okay.
Okay. The
Thanks.
next was silver.
But then this is, having said that, this is long-term target, as in couple of months we have to wait.
Yeah,
right?
this is a long term of, I think so, 1 or 2 years, because as we are looking at the monthly chart, so there is a high possibility that it would retest this particular zone of 50,000 as well. It has to retest the zone of 50,000 because you can see a shooting star candle formation, and like this is the breakout zone. It went till 55K. Now it is coming to retest this zone. It will form a base and then it will again move to the upside.
Got it.
So like, okay. So over here in silver as well, I need something. So over here in silver, again, you can see that silver is trying to break from this particular zone, a symmetrical triangle formation, or this is a descending triangle formation. So the important zone for silver over here is it will find some support. This is a weekly chart, so it will find some support near the 66K mark, whereas the resistance there it is a major resistance for silver. The major resistance for silver is near the 75K mark. So unless and until the 75K mark is not broken to the upside, we can see that silver might be trading in the range from 65 to 75K. But once it breaks the 75K, then again we have to look at the chart differently at that moment. But over here, I think so this is the range for 65 to 75K for silver.
So how do we make out between silver and gold, which is more bullish? उसके लिए क्या करना होता है, मतलब रेशियो चार्ट करना होता है, क्या करना होता है?
Usually I see at the individual charts in silver, I look at the this thing. क्या ओवरहेड सप्लाई किधर है, तो इधर आप गोल्ड का देखोगे तो खाली इधर 2 ओवरहेड सप्लाई दिख रहे हैं, कुछ ज्यादा इधर ओवरहेड सप्लाई नहीं है। वेराज सिल्वर का देखोगे तो सिल्वर का सिल्वर का इधर ओवरहेड सप्लाई काफी ज्यादा है, एंड बीइंग न्यू टू द कमोडिटी सेक्शन आई हैव नॉट रियली dwell much time into this thing, but looking at the price chart pattern itself, so I would be more bullish into the gold, because silver ka this is a very big resistance level. Even if it 75 cross karta, there is another level of 78, and it has rejected quite a few times from 75 level, but gold mein itna zyada 2 या 3 rejections hi hue hai, so that is why I would be more bullish on gold. But being said that, I think so I don't have much experience on trading the commodities till now, and gaining and reading some books, so I would be able to answer it I think so after like 1 or 2 months, but till now according to my knowledge I think so gold is
no that makes sense. मगर डॉलर इंडेक्स, don't you think इसका इनके चार्ट्स दोनों के we should be looking at in dollars?
Obviously it has to be linked. There is some price correlation into it, but being said that I have not mastered that thing, or I have not put my time into it, that is why I won't be able to comment it, so I don't want to mislead anyone.
So I don't know, I'm not looking at immediate answers, and I am also putting my head to it, and I'm actually really confused कि डॉलर इंडेक्स अभी तो चलो खैर हाई पे चल रहा है, but according to the studies and articles I read, dollar index is, dollar will probably collapse at some point of time when large amount of international trade starts happening in other currencies, like we've seen recently, India purchasing in Indian currency or ruble. So I don't know if it breaks down dollar USD DXY, what effect will it have on the gold price per se? And then more specifically, what effect will it have on the gold price in Indian rupees also? मतलब gold price in US dollar में क्या होगा, Indian rupee पे क्या होगा?
Definitely, I will try to even
there are two moving parts. One is dollar versus rupee. If dollar weakens, rupee will strengthen. If rupee strengthens, then it is good for me for all exporting commodities, but for importing commodities, it's not good for me, right?
Right.
So उस केस में क्या होगा, मतलब one is in favor of gold, one is in one is.
That is, I think so. I need to dig a bit more before I.
Of course, that's an open question.
Yeah, definitely. So I think so. In the next session of the next white session, till like if I get a clarity, we'll obviously discuss. Even if you get some clarity, you can let me know. So it will be helpful. Okay. So I think so. Moving forward, I think so. We have covered a lot of stocks. I would be uploading this as well on the this thing. We are going to cover, I think so, the candlestick formation next week, next Sunday. We would be covering the basics. The candlestick formation, like the topic would be covered in 2 sessions. So it would be of 1.5 hours each. And after that, obviously, there would be a chart discussion session. But for now, the next week, I think so, AWL and Tata Steel are looking good. AWL is eventually it is looking good. As you can see, there is no overhead supply. So you can keep a watch into it. You can look at the chart action and you can try to trade it on your own. But the only the only advice that I give is try to look at stocks which are trending up, which are already to the upside, which are already moving up, and which are showing a high relative strength as well. So we would be covering all these things, how to identify such stock. There is a term called stage 2 stocks. But moving forward, as I've told, this is a very this is just the start of the journey. It would be covered in 1 year itself. We'll try to understand how to make entry and so on and so forth. So
Archit, we were covering HUL.
Yeah, sorry, sir.
And with that, will you mind if you cover Gujarat Gas, seeing the weekly RSI?
Yeah, done. Just a second. HUL. I think so. I look at the monthly chart of HUL. So on the monthly chart, there is a good support level at this 1750 level, 1760 level to 2000 level. We look at the RSI level. We'll try to see if there is some divergences. But the overall trend of HUL, it is looking weak. There would be some trend line. Just a second. So over here in HUL, right now the on the weekly chart, it is hovering near the 200 week moving average. And as you can see, the 200 week moving average, it has not broken since a long time, since the time of 2006 onwards. So right now it is looking at a good support zone, whereas there is a trend line, slanting trend line support as well. But I would not give too much importance to that. But on the price action, the 200-day week moving average, it is looking good. It is taking support. We look at the RSI on the weekly chart, where it is situated, and it is situated at the bottom of this channel. So based on this thing, on the investment horizon, this thing, it is at a very good risk reward ratio, because the HUL has always, it is above the 200-day moving average. And as I said, if the stock is moving above the 200-day moving average, the stock is in an uptrend. And for the moving average to turn down, it will take time. And right now it is not showing effects that it is moving to the down. The volumes are also not much significant on the on the weekly scale. So I think so it is at an accumulation zone for this particular zone. But I am not a fan of like stocks which are trading near the support zone, like on the weekly support zone. It might be good for investment, but I think so it will take some time. It will do some basing. There would be some whipsaws as well. But for now, I guess it should come to test this particular zone. It might form a double bottom kind of formation. I will look at the RSI as well. And RSI, I cannot see any divergences on the daily. Okay. So like this, you are talking, Sushant, about the investment purpose or for the trading perspective?
Since it's near the support, can we take this long with the smallest SL or somewhere like that?
Yeah, obviously you can take, like, you can build a strategy on this thing. So
Let's say the long somewhere near 1910 or 1920 or somewhere like that, with a SL near 1850 or 1800 for a target. Let's say around 2350 or somewhere like that.
yeah, so I think so 2350 would be a very high target, but there would be two resistances in it. The first resistance would be near the 2150 mark, and the second resistance near would be 22, like 2200. But definitely you can look to build a position near the 1910 levels. You can keep a stop loss of 50, but the main thing over here is you like, if the 1900 level is crossed to the downside, you can see some RSI divergence as well. Then you can try to keep your SL till 1800 levels. You give some room, but yeah, the risk reward ratio is pretty much good, because on the weekly scale it is trading near the support level, and as well on the daily chart as well. I think so it might form a double bottom formation.
Perfect. Thank you. And can you just cover Gujarat Gas seen the weekly RSI? Because it's somehow related with the natural gas also, I believe.
It has beaten down. It has some room to come down. We'll look at the daily chart. We'll try to find some. So I think so on the all the three indicators that we can see from here, Gujarat Gas is like, the indicators are turning bullish, that which indicates that the sellers are not much strong over here, but it might take some time. You can try to build a position, because you can see over here that this particular zone has a good support level, like 475 to 490 levels. You can look to add a position over here, but it might take some time to reverse. So the targets won't be that big, but the targets would be around 520, and it can move till 550 levels as well. So for Gujarat levels, although the indicators, on the indicators part, it has trying to turn bullish, but on the price action itself, I think so it might take some time to reverse.
Archit, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Indicators are turning bullish. How did you make that out? Can you?
It is just a divergence part, simple. I think so it would be covered more later, but there are like,
since you just touched upon, that's why.
So I think so there is this particular force index is basically an indicator which this is a particular low that has happened at 490 level. There is a MACD divergence as well. There is a crossover as well, and you can see RSI also, it is not moving to the downside with greater force. So from this is just like, I think so it would be covered more into this thing, but looking at these, I usually look at these three indicators, and just by looking at the price action as well as the indicators, it seems that the overall it is at a very oversold level, and there might be some divergences that is being happening. So you can see on my, I think so I've been posting in Bank Nifty charts as well. I usually use a series of RSI, MACD, and force index, and if out of two indicators are turning bullish, I will turn bullish based on the price action. There should be some price action showing some reversal sign as well.
Got it.
And would you prefer to go long on Indigo, like even after it fired from 1750 to 1958 right now? Seeing the news and all those, because on weekend we are getting good news about the same. So is that the news which is following the price, or price which is following the news?
I think so. The Indigo, I think so. It will, if there is some, if it gaps up, it doesn't make sense to buy the stock on a gap up. But if you can get an entry near the 1900 levels, then it should be a good entry point, because you can see a series of, like, the trend has been changing. You can see a cup and handle formation as well, and it can take support near the 1870, 1880 marks.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think so. Actually, I have got to go. Yeah, Abhijit, I'll take this last question. I have to go for some event, but I'll take this last question, and then I think so. Yeah. Let me know.
Okay, so Archit, I joined in late, so I'm sorry for you already covered.
No issues.
Can you just quickly take a look at RHI, RHIM?
Yeah, I've already covered, but yes, I'll cover it again.
Sorry, I don't know.
No issues.
Yeah, I wasn't sure you covered it.
So I think so we discussed it on the daily chart. So on the daily chart, the RHIM was breaking out from a symmetrical triangle formation. This was the breakout point near the 550 mark. So according to the price pattern, the price pattern of RHIM is near the 690-700 mark. So this is on the daily chart. We'll go to the 2-hourly chart as well, and you can see an ascending triangle formation that is being formed at this particular level. So based on the, I think so, the Fibonacci as well as the two price patterns that we can see, RHIM once it crosses the 620-625 mark, whereas the support, it has a good support near the 600 mark. So this is a trade, this is a portfolio, like you have to buy this stock as a portfolio or as a positional pick, because you cannot time the entries in intraday, because it usually like it moves when there is volume. There might be some days it might move, it might not move for 7 days, but on the 8th day it will move. So overall it is looking good, and it has a target. Actually, I have a target of near 700 levels. Once it reaches the 700 level, it might correct down. So I think so. I would be sharing the video as well. I have recorded it on the Zoom itself. So I think so after 5 or 10 minutes, I will be able to send. But with this, I am ending the session. We would be taking, I think so, those who are registered with the technical analysis series, we would be covering the candlestick, and I would be sharing the timetable of how we are planning to cover everything over the next 2 or 3 months. And thank you for giving me time on a weekend, and I hope I have solved your doubts. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.